Hi everyone. Today I am going to be talking about something incredibly controversial. I will not be supporting Donna Matthews' appeal. The facts have come in. Donna will be appealing her case. There are a lot of good women that are standing behind Donna. Maybe I could have worded things a little bit kinder, but I think at the time I was feeling very passionate. So I don't want to take back the words that I said just because I was feeling passionate. And maybe those words seemed a little bit rude at the time. That's how I was feeling. So I don't want to apologize for how I was feeling at the time. Maybe it hurt someone's feelings afterwards, or maybe you're watching it now and you're coming back and you're saying, wow, that was pretty harsh. If you're coming now and hearing it, then I want to say, yes, I'm sorry if you are offended by that or what I've said about anyone else. But I'm not sorry about how I felt at that moment and why I said those things at that moment. And I think a lot of what has transpired before I made that video has led me to this point of why I'm making the tough decision that I'm going to be making regarding Donna. And a lot of women are going to look at me and they're going to think that I am turning my back on Donna. I'm not going to be turning my back on Donna. I still love her. She's still a friend. But as her friend, I think I need to be smart. And while I was called stupid and I wasn't called smart enough to make any judgments on the lawyers, I feel I'm highly intelligent, and I've actually had lawyers who have told me that I should have become a lawyer because I am so educated in the law and I know how to handle legal situations in a very high pressure situation. I've had lawyers that have come to try to shake my hand and have talked about me in a huge office in Milwaukee, asking if I was a lawyer or had a law degree or was studying law, because I really knew how to present myself in a way that I could defend myself legally. So to say that I'm stupid or I'm not smart enough to know anything about the law because I'm not a lawyer doesn't disqualify me from making a proper judgment on a crappy lawyer. These two lawyers may be the best in the country, but they didn't show it at Donna's trial. I'm not entirely sure if they're even sure they want to defend Donna, because there was no passion behind it. There was nothing behind these lawyers that made me feel like I was saying, yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, like you passionately wanted to feel for Donna. You didn't feel that from these lawyers. You didn't feel like they were passionately fighting for Donna's life. That's one of the reasons why I won't be standing behind this appeal. I feel Donna needs better lawyers, needs better counsel, better advice, and she needs help. I want to talk to you about something that transpired through the trial. A couple things, and I don't think that I've mentioned them, but I had a conversation with my husband this weekend about this situation with Donna and so many things that were really odd to me, that really didn't make any sense. So I want to discuss those, and then I'm going to move forward and I'm going to talk about why I'm not going to pursue this. And also, I do have some really big news for you. I am in contact with somebody who may possibly get me a direct interview with one of the jurors on Donna's case. This person will be completely anonymous unless this person wants to become known. But this person is speaking out about why they made the decision that they made and why the decision was made so quickly. And I believe that this person is highly credible for domestic violence. And that's about as far as I'm going to go with that right now. I'm in the works trying to talk with this person's contact who has contacted me from watching these videos. I do not know this person. I don't know the person who's contacted me. They just reached out to me and kind of told me some things and said that they might be able to get me in touch with this juror. Hopefully that will happen. I probably would not want to request having this person on video unless this person decided that's what they wanted to do. But it's going to be very private unless this person decides not to do that. So that's kind of what else is going on right now with this case. I'm going to have an opportunity to maybe get in the mindset of the jurors to find out what was going on in their mind and why they came to the conclusion that they did. Maybe they can give me some insight of the holes in the case, and maybe they're the same holes that I've been discussing all along. So now let's back up and let me get back to the trial about Donna. In one of my videos, I actually talked to you about some of the things that were very disconcerting to me. I really just couldn't figure out why Donna was doing some of the things that they did, why the cops did some of the things that they did. I felt like there was so much information that was lost in translation or just not being brought up. There was just too much going on that I felt was being neglected, that wasn't being brought up. This whole idea of her journal. Let's talk about the baby journal. The baby journal isn't really a baby journal, so to speak. The baby journal was a journal that inmates made to their children so that they could stay connected with their children. However, the children were not able to get those journals until after they got out of jail, which to me, in my opinion, that doesn't make any sense. If the inmates are trying to connect with their children, why aren't they allowed to give their children these books throughout the interim of their stay in the detention center or in jail? So that was a little weird to me, but that's, their rules. First of all, Donna was in the Kenosha County Jail where I was, as I mentioned before. That's initially where she was when she was brought here from Hawaii. I will tell you from my experience what Donna told me. Donna told me that she cooperated with the police in Hawaii and she cooperated with the police in Kenosha. She gave me the impression that she actually confessed to the murder because she felt so bad and so guilty about it. I could be completely wrong because I would have to go through all those letters to find out. And I just might go through those letters and read them to you. Just for the mere fact that, it is part of the situation and how I felt I was misled. But I was under this impression from the girls, too, that she worked with the police, that she confessed to it, that she told them what she did. In the trial, we learned something different. We learned that the cops, after they found Michael Guyan's body, they initially contacted her just to kind of get some information. She wasn't a prime suspect at that time. But then when she was becoming a prime suspect, they were trying to just talk to her about things and trying to catch her in lies, which they did. And she was pretending like Guyan was still harassing her and she was scared for her life and all this other stuff. She didn't know at the time what was really going on. She thought they were following up on the whole harassment, I guess. I'm not entirely sure because, again, those things were really unclear in the case. Donna does not deny shooting Michael Guyan 5 times and then bashing his head in with the gun and calling him a mother effer as she was doing it. She does not deny that she went to go to Michigan the next day. She does not deny that she lied to her friends about when she got into town. One of her friends asked her, "So have you heard from Michael at all?" And Donna was like, "Nope." And she was happy. When she went back to Hawaii, someone asked her about the situation because this was after she killed him. She came back to Hawaii, went back to work, and one of the girls who knew the situation between her and Michael, this friend that she had met in Hawaii, had asked her how things were going. And Donna's reply was, "It's all taken care of." And that was that. And even some of her closest friends were asking her, "What's going on? Why haven't you heard from him?" "I don't know. I just haven't heard from him, and that's a good thing." So she was lying to a lot of people. And to me, I just find that that's not remorse. And if you really wanted to fight for defense, if that's going to be your argument, then maybe you should have confessed. Maybe you should have went to the police. Maybe when the police called, you should have broke down and cried and said, I did it. I killed him, and here's why. She went almost a whole month discussing the situation as if nothing had happened to a lot of people, and acting happy and getting the tattoo and telling people it was taken care of. And then when her brother was arrested, she kind of let her brother take the rap for it and was telling people someone's already been arrested for it. So there was no remorse. And if he had been harassing her the way that she claimed, and I don't know whether that's true or not, we do know from the court that some of those documents did prove that there was some harassment going on. But we also know that Donna was kind of egging this on. And anybody in any kind of relationship knows, especially after this thing that just happened with me and Jared, we just got done talking about how in the heat of the moment, when you're really kind of like that, things kind of escalate and you kind of push each other's buttons. And I think Donna was pushing his buttons as well as him pushing hers. So I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm just saying that I know Donna. I really do know Donna. And I know Donna has a very strong personality like mine. And although I've been in an abusive relationship, when I was in one of the worst abusive relationships in my life, and I really wanted to get away from him stalking me and harassing me and constantly showing up at my doorstep, I left. I moved. And I didn't tell anyone but maybe 3 people where I was. And I simply said to a couple people, I'm in Chicago. Only 2 other people, my son and my best friend, knew exactly where I lived, my address and everything. And I knew I could trust those people to never tell my ex-husband where my address was. When I got away from my ex-husband, I got away. And I made sure I wasn't found. So why Donna wasn't doing that, I don't know. That leaves a lot to question for the jury, for the judge. If you're really getting away, if you're really being harassed, if you have this threat that someone's going to be killed, something else should have been done. It's very obvious that he hasn't killed anybody else. So I would say they were threats. Nothing was carried through. But then again, Donna was always putting herself back into his life, thinking that maybe that was the reason why no one was killed. It's a catch-22 situation. So Donna, when she was arrested, came to Kenosha County Jail. She came to the Kenosha Jail, and that's where she was. And she really hated it there. I don't know the details. She said it was really bad. She said that the guards didn't like her. They were harassing her. They were giving her a hard time. So she was really trying to get out into the detention center. Now, at this time, I had been in contact with Donna a lot. She was writing me about 2-3 times a week. I was talking to her on the phone, and so I was supporting her, and I was going to some of her court dates back then. And the one where she wanted to get out into the detention center was first denied, but then I believe she did get moved out there, and I don't really know how that happened, but I was still communicating with her. This way I was able to communicate with her through email. The reason that she was trying to get moved out to the Kenosha Detention Center, according to the lawyers and according to her, was so that she could get involved in this program, and I forget the name of it, but it was specifically for battered women. However, we know that there was another woman in there that was in the program who said that Donna was only in the program for 2 weeks and then quit the program. Now, why did you quit? If you were so abused and so harassed and so mentally beat down, why did you quit this program? Especially when that was the reason why you wanted to get moved there, so that you could get the help that you wanted. It did not look good that she quit this program. It also didn't look good that through this program they were making those baby books. Again, a baby book sounds like a baby, but it's for any children, and her children are grown adults. And so she was making this journal for one of her daughters. And in that journal was a letter addressed to her daughter with the return address for the Kenosha Detention Center. One of her cellmates or locker mates, she was sharing a locker with this one girl. The girl that she was sharing the locker with thought she was getting out of jail. And so Donna asked her, will you take this journal to my daughter? Now, I don't really have a clear answer of whether that girl said she would do it or not, but we do know that Donna put it in there one way or the other. And I do believe, from what I remember, this woman who testified, who shared the locker with Donna, is she said that it was just in there. She had no idea that Donna had put it in there. However, the girl got out of jail and then came back into jail, so she never got her belongings. And so when the police went to get her stuff, they found Donna's journal in there. The journal itself is not something that's incriminating for Donna, I didn't feel. They took some copies, some pictures of the journal, and in the journal it was telling Sydney, don't forget what Michael did to you. Don't forget what Michael did to me. Don't forget the good times that we had. Don't forget that trip to Michigan. Things of that nature, which I felt were really irrelevant to the case. I don't really feel like the journal incriminated Donna and the things that she wrote. I think that the way that Donna handled it showed a little bit of Donna's character and maybe a little bit of her mental well-being or mindset, because she was trying to smuggle a journal out illegally, because anytime they want to send something out, they have to keep it open so that it's read by security and by the police before it goes anywhere else, especially with her in a high-profile murder case. They're going to read everything that comes in, and they're going to read everything that goes out. So what Donna was trying to hide, nobody knows, because to me, whatever was in there wasn't something worth hiding. And so I don't really feel like any of that was relevant, except for the case that she broke the rules, that she went and did whatever she wanted to do and tried to, do what she wanted to do. That again was showing a sign of control, and that she was trying to manipulate the situation and manipulate people in jail. We also know from testimony that apparently Donna was happy that they had found Michael so late in the game. Michael was shot on July 4th, 2016, and he was found on July 27th, 2016. And the way that he was found was construction work was going on. They were building some new apartments down there, and they saw all these flies, and the smell was coming from the house, and they thought, that's just weird. And so Michael didn't have a lot of contacts. So it wasn't like somebody was like, hey, I haven't heard from Michael in a few days. The only one who would have known would have been Donna. Like, have you heard from Michael? What's going on? And it was no. And every day I was like, oh, well, that's good. Which kind of, wouldn't somebody say, well, that seems kind of weird. How did you get rid of him? Like, how did he stop contacting you? I don't understand, because it was an everyday thing and he was contacting you, 600 times a day. Why all of a sudden is it just silent for, 23 days? Nobody asked these questions. And so one of her roommates or inmates confessed or testified that Donna was bragging about the fact that he was found so late, and she was glad that he had maggots on his body and that, they were eating him away. I know that's very graphic, so I'm sorry, but that is the reality of what happened to him. He was decaying. He had been there for 23 days in the sweltering heat of July. The house was completely closed down. What they found, what they smelled, what they saw, the flies buzzing around the house. It was, I also felt like when Donna took the stand, she was very matter of fact. I don't really feel like there was any heart to the matter. I don't really feel like Donna was showing I don't really feel like Donna was showing herself to be the person that I knew her to be. Some people are going to go, well, she was on trial. Okay, but if you're on trial and you're fighting for your life, then fight for your life. Even if you got to fake it. You get up there and you cry and you have remorse, show remorse. But she showed no remorse. She was very cold. For me, watching her up there, I didn't even recognize this woman. She was not the person I knew because she seemed different. She seemed calculated. She seemed cold. And maybe that's from the abuse. But I know from being in abuse that I wasn't cold and calculated. I was really kind of scared about everything. I was afraid, I felt like when I was in Chicago, I was always looking over my shoulder, even though I knew he wasn't there. I would peek out my window sometimes and just be like, that person looks like my ex-husband. It probably wasn't, and it wasn't. But that was my fear. And so I wouldn't leave the house for a while. I'd be like, I'm not leaving. I walked around always thinking over my shoulder, he's gonna be here. I don't know. I didn't know. And even when I moved back to Kenosha, it was the same way. Because I knew he still lived in Kenosha. I was always fearful of seeing him. And when I did see him, I had a nervous breakdown. But it was the first time I saw him. So after that, I was okay. But I was scared. But there was no fear in Donna. The only time she cried was when she was talking about when she was in Chicago with Guyan and he supposedly took her by the neck, forced her onto the bed, and raped her. She could have filed charges against him. Now she's got proof because he raped her. But the problem is that she went and got cocaine and a whole bunch of other drugs to enhance the 3 days in Chicago. And it was a 3-day sex fest. And I can see where the prosecution was going with that and wanting to roll with that and wanting to take that to a whole different level because I love her. That's exactly why I'm not going to support her, is because I love her. And anybody else who loves her should say, I'm not going to support you, Donna. This was not right. This was wrong. You need help. That's what her friends should be saying to her. And as her friend, that's what I want you to tell her that I'm saying. That I love her and I will not support her because I love her. Because I want her to get help. She needs help. And I think that if she gets help, she can walk out of jail maybe sooner than we hope. And maybe she'll come out a healed and whole woman. And maybe if she gets that help in prison and sticks with it and doesn't try to break the rules, then maybe she'll be okay. But to appeal it on defense again, I can't back that up. If you're going to appeal it on temporary insanity, go for it, because that's where it needs to go. If you appeal and get different lawyers, I'm behind you 100%. But somebody needs to think this through. And they need to be smart about it. And they need to be smart with Donna about it. Somebody needs to sit down with Donna and talk to her about her behavior, her demeanor, who she's talking to in jail. Because I know from someone who was in jail for a very short period of time, those girls love to talk about their crimes. They love it. It's like a thing. I can't tell you how many horrible criminal stories I heard just in 12 hours. They're proud of it. They're laughing about it. It's a joke to them. And if it's a joke to them, and they hear Donna talking about this situation with no remorse, guess what? They're going to tell that story. They're going to tell the story of that Donna, and the Donna that we know, and the Donna that we have been trying to stand behind is not going to matter. Because our character witnesses are from a Donna we don't know anymore. I really pray for Donna and her friends that they will wise up, that they will come to reason, that they will see the reality of this and tell Donna, don't appeal, just get help. That's my best advice for these women and for Donna, that she just accept it. She really needs to come to a place, because I do believe she will have an opportunity to speak at her judgment, that she comes clean and she says, Your Honor, I did this and I'm very remorseful. I could have done things differently and I wish I had, but I'm asking you to have mercy on me so that I can get the help that I need, because I feel psychologically I'm not who I used to be, and I'm afraid of me. I'm afraid of who I've become, and I need help. And I think that's the way that Donna needs to handle this. She needs to just accept the fact that she murdered someone, and that she has to have somewhere in her spirit, in her mind, in her heart, in her soul, some remorse, but she doesn't. That's the problem. I know for a fact that when I was abused by my ex-husband and he tried killing me, and I felt that moment of I was going to kill him, I know that it scared me deeply. And to this day, I still think about that moment and how I felt, and I think, that's scary. And that's why I left. That's why I moved. That's why when he continued to harass me after I left him, I had to get away. For my sake. For my safety. For his safety. He's still around and he's still abusing his girlfriend, and he's still an alcoholic, and he's still a drug addict, and all those other things. You know what? But he's not harassing me anymore. He's moved on and I've moved on. And Michael Guyon would have moved on to another woman, because throughout this process, Donna's also testifying that he was having a new girlfriend and she was jealous of this new girlfriend. Again, wouldn't you be glad that he had a new girlfriend? You should have pursued that. You should have pushed him towards the girl. You should have been happy about it. But instead, it was brought up in the trial that he was talking to another girl and possibly having a new girlfriend, and Donna was upset about it. I would have been like, good, go, have at it. Because that's what I said to my ex-husband. I am not your girl. I am not your wife. You have a new girlfriend. You go to her. But every time you have a problem with her, you don't come running back to me. You have a different life. You go live that life. And that's what Donna needed to do, is just let it go. But she didn't. She murdered him. She shot him 5 times. And then, when he was still breathing, she took the end of the gun and smashed it against his head and called him a motherfucker, screaming. To go the next day, as if life goes on, I don't know how you can do that. There have been people that have died in my life that I wasn't very close with, but I have felt like, why does life have to keep going on? And I feel like I need to take time, like I have to take that moment, some time to just say, can't the world stop for a minute? Donna didn't feel that way. Donna was anxious to get on with her life and pretend like nothing happened. Is that a cold, calculated murderer? Or is that an abused, harassed woman? We're going to find out soon.